Well, welcome back to the shop and to the channel, to another episode of the Island of Misfit Toys, or in this case, machine tools. So what I have here is a Black Diamond BW-90 drill grinder. I've had my eye on one of these for a while, but came across very few of them at auction. I saw this one come up. I believe I bought this at the same time I bought that double-ended grinder. And again, like the double-ended grinder, this thing is an absolute mess. It is just caked on. I don't know how well you can see some of this. Grinding dust is just everywhere. I think I have a parts diagram for one of these. I've also got some other parts for it. I believe this part is supposed to mount over here somewhere, and that is for, I think, or it might be this. One of these two is for grinding a split point. Because the grinding wheel that goes on this is a special grinding wheel. Look at all this. Look at this. This is just so gross. Why would you... I imagine this tool's in good shape, but holy mackerel. Take care of your tools, people. Anyway, this takes a special grinding wheel. It's actually got grinding on the face and on the end. And then, you know, one operation you're grinding here, another operation you're grinding over there. So I think this is actually for sharpening, and this might be for the split point. It did come with a bunch of these collets. These are for mounting your various drills in that need to be sharpened, and then that collet mounts into this attachment. You can see there's a collet in here already, and then this fits into these different fixtures for grinding, for the grinding operation itself. There's some stops. There's some stops in here. It rides along this pin here so you get the proper relief angles. So it's a pretty complicated piece of machinery. This thing up here at the top is for setting the drill. It's got these different sized pieces, and there's one missing there. I'm not sure what's going to go there, but you use that to align the flutes properly when you mount it into the holder, and that way when you go to sharpen it, you're actually sharpening the right edges. So, you know, a lot of drill bits that I have, if I break one, I throw it away. I don't bother with it. But even when it gets dull, often I will just throw it away. But, you know, when you start investing in some quality drills, those aren't ones you're going to just throw away. And I don't have the budget to just throw a good Cleveland drill away or something like that. Let's see if this thing runs. I don't know what kind of condition the bearings are in. I can tell you that the cord is junk, but I think for now, for this test, we're going to go ahead and run it the way it is. Alright, I got it plugged in. Hopefully I don't get electrocuted. If I do, this will be a very short video. Alright. It doesn't sound great. Those bearings might need to get replaced. But what I need to do first is I need to start completely disassembling this thing. Again, I don't know if this is going to be something I'm going to paint or if I'm just going to leave it as is. I know it's missing some parts, like it's missing the dresser for the face of the wheel. I think I might be able to make something. I don't know if you know somebody who has some spare parts for this, I'd be interested in talking to them. Because if I don't have to make it, I'd rather not make it. I'd rather be able to just clean this up and put it to use. But in the meantime, what I need to do now, besides unplug it, is just start taking this thing apart and trying to get it cleaned up. And to clean this up, I'm going to be using some Super Clean. I've got it in this spray-on aerosol, and I've got the squirt bottle. I also have some of this in gallon jugs, because what I am going to do is I'm going to take a bunch of these parts, since I don't believe any of this is aluminum, and I'm going to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner with some Super Clean. Now, Super Clean has asked me if I'd like to do a giveaway for some Super Clean, so I said sure, why not? And so what they're giving away is a spray bottle and an aerosol can. And the only thing that you need to do is be a subscriber of this YouTube channel, My Little Mule, and you need to send me an email. And the email address is down below. But you need to send me an email with your YouTube name, because I need to validate that you are a YouTube subscriber, and I need your mailing address. Unfortunately, this is only going to be for US addresses, because it's going to get shipped right from Super Clean, and so they're only going to be shipping US addresses. Now, I'll note that I will not be sharing anything other than the person selected to receive the giveaway with Super Clean, so I will not be sending them all of these names and addresses. I will, as a matter of fact, delete them all once I am finished with the giveaway. I'm going to let this giveaway run and through to the 1st of March. So on the 1st of March, I will choose by random selection a recipient for the Super Clean. So, I mean, this stuff is good stuff. You got to give it a try. I've been using this for longer than I've had YouTube, and I've been really happy with it. I use this stuff on my Jeep a lot too, to clean a lot of the oil and stuff that gets all over everything, especially after doing oil changes or bearing changes or whatever. So just got to be a subscriber to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel. I need to be able to validate that, and I need your name and address, and that's it. So I'll try to remind folks on future videos that this giveaway is going to be, again, for the remainder of the month of February. So March 1st, I'll be giving away. So, time to get started taking this thing apart. I think I'm going to put on some gloves, though, because this thing's gross. I'm assuming there's some kind of a pin that is holding this in place. Try a couple of taps with a little brass hammer. Maybe I need to take the motor off first, because that looks like it's going to be in the way. Alright, let's do that then. Let's see what we need to do to take the motor off. A couple of shields on here. Looks like there's one on the back too. Let's see. Okay. None of that was very helpful. How to get the motor off. I was hoping I would have seen something down in here. Could tip it over on its back. Before I do that, I want to take this piece off. Let's see. Is that going to be right? There we go. All right, let's tip it back, see if I can see anything. Nope. Nothing I can see underneath here. It makes it obvious how to take this motor out. So okay, what's next? Hard to see anything when there's so much crap all over this thing. Okay, it looks like that's fixed. What now? Can't really tell if there's anything in here to get this off. Let's see. And what if we take this out? This must be some kind of a lock. It looks like, almost looks like there's a gib in the side of this. It's got to be for adjusting it. Maybe this whole thing will come out. I don't know if this is going to help me any in getting the motor off, but you know, we'll try. All right, so that whole thing's going to come off. What's underneath here? So it looks like there's some set screws in these smaller holes for adjusting the gib, and then that middle one's a lock. And that looks like it's captured. Looks like there's a set screw on here that captures that. I don't want to take this apart just yet, but I will before it goes into the ultrasonic. So this can come off, I think. It's like a 3/4 inch or 1 inch screw. This looks like it is dowel pinned in place. I'm going to guess anyway, because it looks like these might be dowel pins here. And definitely what I've done in the past is use a wood chisel, because these cheap wood chisels, the steel is softer than the material that I'm trying to pry apart, and so that usually does a pretty good job of unwedging it. Looks like I'm having some decent luck here. Well, it's marginally better. I don't know how much that helps me or not, but trying to see if there's a way I can get this guard here off without taking apart the whole motor, meaning, you know, the end bells. There are some studs in here. This one here, there's another one over there, and there's two more on top. If I could get a wrench on those and get those off, that would at least let me get this. No, see, I don't know what's connected to what here. I need to go see if I can find that parts diagram. I'm not sure if I actually ever did find one or if it was just a manual. But this thing is crusty, crusty, crusty. Even all this over here by this piece. Decades of neglect. I'm thinking that I'm not going to be able to get it past that, so I'm thinking I need to take the motor off first before I can get this off, I think. Okay, so looking at this bracket, which is attached to the underside of the motor, slides on two rails, one on either side, and then in the center is a screw that allows you to adjust where the motor is in relationship. I imagine this is probably for facing the grinding wheel. So still thinking the motor has to come off of that bracket. Will it come off from underneath? Maybe I missed something. Let me pop this thing back up on its back and take a closer look. Now I can see how the motor is attached to that bracket now. And I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a cap screw right there, and there's three others. One here, one here. And there's no way to get that off of there. So the only thing I can think of is that these rods need to come out. Which way do they go out? And then this screw has to come off. And that whole bracket will come out of the base. And then Bob's your uncle. Question is, how do I get those rods out of there? Now, if I look at the front of this thing, here's the end of one rod. Here's the end of the other. So will those come out? But I think before I can do that, I need to take this off maybe, because that's not going to come out with that screw in there. So let's see. Set screw here on this plastic knob. There we go. Sitting on the flat. And it looks like there might be another set screw in here. There is. There we go. Anything hiding back there? Nope. Okay, a couple of set screws here. That must be for some kind of. There's no. Oh yeah, I guess there is graduations on there. You could hardly ever couldn't see them at first. I have no idea what they represent, but there's an indicator there on top. Okay, that's captured on there. I wonder if... Can I just screw this out? Will this come all the way out? Looks like it. Cool. Alright, so that's that adjustment screw. Now next are these two rods. Which way do you think that they'll drive out? Let's try from the front. Just about the right size. Let's see. Well, it's moving a little, but then it feels like it's stopped. Alright, well, let's try it from this side instead. Feels like it stopped there too. I can only go so far and then it quits. Now, is that because it's filthy and the rod just won't move any more than that? Or am I missing something else? Ow. I don't believe these are threaded in any way. There's no threads. Those are smooth on the inside of that bore. What about the front? No, that's smooth on the inside of that bore too. So these are not threaded. Thinking that I would use like a slide hammer or something. Maybe those rods are just so filthy that I need to clean those first. But I don't know how I'm going to get in there to clean some of this gunk off. Oh, it's a nice blue color when it's not covered in crap. That's what I like about Super Clean. Stuff just does such a great job. I mean, nothing's like... It's a little rusty, but... Like I was saying, it feels like I was hitting something like a shoulder, right? Like I was being stopped from it moving because of a hard shoulder or something like that. So I don't know if that's actually the case, but maybe I need to do both of them at the same time. Maybe it got twisted when I was doing that, and that's what was happening. Maybe I need to tap out both of them at the same time. I think what I am going to do is take some WD-40 and soak down some of this. We're going to try that again. And this time we're going to try alternating between the two rods and see if that doesn't help. A few taps there. Still feel like this isn't going very far. It's like it only gets about 1/4 of an inch in and then it stops. Maybe this one is going to defeat me. I mean, that rod's a little bit rusty, but not to the point where I think it would, cause this thing not to move any further. But it could be. There could be enough rust on there that's going to prevent it from going through that hole. Plus, it's got to slide. The motor's got to slide on it too. Same thing. It gets to a certain point and then stops. Well, let me look underneath again. Maybe there's something underneath there that I missed. Some kind of a set screw or something. Nothing. There's nothing on this that I can tell that would stop it. There's no shoulder. Are there set screws somewhere else that I'm missing? I see no set screws. I mean, could that be a set screw on top of that? But I mean, if that's a set screw, that could be a set screw right there. And that could be one right there too. Well, that would certainly stop it. That's interesting. Well, I have to get this off if I'm going to get to those set screws, because I can now almost bet that's what's keeping it from being able to be pulled out. And quite frankly, if I get this shield off and get this thing off, I don't know that I need to take the motor off anymore, because I think I could just clean it in place. I might even be able to check the bearings and everything with it in place. But in order to know for sure, I need to get, I think these studs need to come off. These bolts, or these nuts need to come off of those studs, I think. That's the only thing that I can see that is holding this thing on. The only thing I can think to do here is just to try to sneak this wrench in here and take small little turns at it, because I do not have a 3/8 socket that is that thin. I know this camera is not, angle is not helping you at all to see anything, but yeah, that is. Oh, that one I got to move a little. I don't know if a needle nose pliers. All right, get this one. All right, can we get one of these other ones? Okay, well that's something. All right, that's two that are starting. Okay, that one's moving too. Okay, that's three. Getting these back on, now that's going to be the fun part. All right, can I get this fourth one to move? Ah, yes. All right. So, of course, I'll probably get all this apart and then find out I didn't need to. That's usually the way it works. All right. I'm going to work on getting these nuts removed, and hopefully that'll bring the shield off, and then I can get to those set screws. I'll bring you back when I get a little bit further along. Okay. All right. So, got all those nuts off. The question is, will this come off nice and easy now? Will it fit over that? Yeah, right. Okay, well, that was interesting. Now I can get to these set screws that I couldn't see before. But that also means that maybe this will come off now, since that shield is no longer in the way. See if we can't get... There we go. Alright, yeah, these are definitely a couple of set screws. Let's see. Can I get in there? It's the right size, feels like it. I wonder if there's some flats machined on those rods, and that's why I was only getting so far. Well, hopefully I didn't do any damage to anything. So let's see what happens now. It moves a lot smoother, and yes, I can see that there are flats machined on that rod, which would explain why I could only get so far. Ow! Try to get this thing out as far as I can so it's past the motor bracket. That way at least I can get the motor out. Alright, I think I can figure out the rest of the way. Go and get this one started. Ah! I'll take this piece of brass and wedge it in here behind this motor bracket to hopefully keep the motor from moving back any further. So now I can just slide this in and hopefully just tap that rod out. Okay, that's one. Doesn't look too bad. Yeah, there's a flat machined on that, which is why I wasn't able to go more than 1/4 of an inch. Makes perfect sense. All right, now for the other side. All right. That's all we needed to get this off. Yeah, there's a fair amount of rust on the outside, especially this one. We'll get those cleaned up. I'll give them a good buff on the lathe. We'll clean up those burrs that I caused by hammering that thing before I realized there were set screws. Dummy. All right, so this can get cleaned up. We'll use some super clean on it. That's all that needs. There's nothing else to come off of this. So we'll put this aside. Now, as far as the motor's concerned, that does not sound good. So we are going to have to figure out how this comes apart and look at the bearings. So I think what I should do is go ahead and remove this bracket and take a look at the data plate, see what it says about the motor, see if it gives me an indication as to what kind of bearings would go in it, and then I need to look for the bearings first, I think, before I start digging in this thing too much. If I can't find the bearings, then that poses a bigger problem that I'll have to figure out how to solve. I guess I'm going to assume I can find the bearings. The question is going to be for how much. Nothing. Tells me the model number, but it says nothing about bearings. Well, I'm hoping that this is going to come off nice and easy. Looks like it's keyed on there, but I don't see anything else. Okay, yep, that's coming off nice and easy. Good. Whew. Sometimes this stuff makes me nervous when I start taking something apart, because you never know sometimes how it went together and how much trouble is going to be. Let's see, can I get that key out? Maybe I don't need to take it out just yet. I'm going to leave it for the time being and go back to removing these nuts that hold this end bell on. Okay, before we get too carried away, let's get a punch and put some witness marks. So, right there. That. That way, at least, it's going back to the same way that it came apart. Okay, it looks like the back wants to come off easier than the front. Not sure if that's a good thing or not. Let's see if we can't tap this off. There we go. That's all right. For now, I'm going to leave this like that. Okay. So on this end, what do we have? Japan 62032. So that shouldn't be too difficult to find. Now for this side, well, let's see. Let's see if this is going to punch through. Yes, it will. All right, that can get cleaned up. And what do we have over here? Nachi, Japan 62032. So shielded on both sides. That is junk. That's not too bad. But that is garbage. Well, I'm really glad I went to the trouble of taking this thing apart. Hopefully I can find these bearings. I'm not surprised that these things are garbage, just based on the caked on grinding dust on the outside of this thing. The inside of this bearing race is disgusting. I'll get that cleaned up. Shouldn't take too much effort with some super clean. So I still have to order the bearings. I still want to take the rest of this apart. I do want to get this apart so I can get that into the ultrasonic cleaner, at least the components that I feel comfortable putting in there. Super clean. If you leave stuff in it too long, it will have a tendency to break down paint. So you got to be careful with that. But I want to get this thing apart, and I think I want to get this apart too. I don't know what kind of trouble this is going to be to get apart. Maybe not much at all, but so I'm sure there's going to be a spring or something in here somewhere, and it could be underneath this because it's got a detent. You can feel the detent on it. So I'm suspecting it's underneath here. Yep, there is a very small set screw. There's the spring. And what's inside there? Let's see. Will it just fall out? Give it a tap. Nope, not so lucky. Alright, well, we'll have to discover that as we go. I think what I will do, though, is I will put this thing on top of a rag. So if it does fall out, maybe it won't go bouncing. Okay. Cap screw. Okay, shoulder bolt. Looks like a Belleville washer. And another Belleville washer. Oh, two more. Come off of there. There's our ball. Looks like the ball is captured from the top, so that's good. There's the ball. It looks like each of these are held in with the set screw. I'm not going to touch those because that's important that those stay where they're supposed to be, and I don't know what's on the other side of these. If there's something that aligns them or if they have to be aligned. Because if I get those out of kilter, then sharpening these drills will be impossible. So I'm going to leave those as they are. Not entirely sure I need to take this off, but I'm going to. If I can, anyway. Interesting. There's two holes. I wonder if that's for different kinds of drills for setting them. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. I haven't found a whole lot of manuals for this stuff, at least. Oh, look at that. There's a shim. I didn't notice that. Okay, so which way was that on there? It was on there like this. Alright, so shim on the back. Again, not sure what that's for. And that's as far as that's going to come down. Okay, I think this is the last piece that needs to come apart. So much to learn on how to use this thing, because I don't have a clue. It looks like this is bent. Alright, so that came all the way through. Alright, there's a cap screw on the end of this. Or socket head. Or cap. That's on there good. Alright, I got this thing in the vise. See if I can't get this loose now. Wow, is it a left hand? No. Oh, there we go. Wow, that was on there tight. There we go. Let's see what we can do here with this. This looks like it's some sort of a stop as well to keep something from going too far one way or the other. So let's see if we can't. Okay, that was pretty loose. That I think is a jam nut. It looks like there's a set screw in here. Yep. There's a snap ring in here. Can I get my snap ring pliers in there to get that out? Almost. Almost. All right, let me try a different pair. Okay, these are a little nicer. Oh my. How in the world? Oh, you know, I bet I need to take this off first. Man, that's a tiny countersunk cap screw. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, come on. Son of a gun. Ah, there we go. Man, that thing barely will come through there. Nothing else on this I'm going to take off. Get this cap screw off the back. Let's get this thing a little cleaned up so we can see if we can read any numbers. Okay, NTN, Japan. What does that say? I cannot read it. But what's that? B or an R12Z? R12Z. You know you're getting old when you got to use your phone camera to zoom in to see the numbers. And this, you know, it doesn't sound terrible, but it doesn't sound great. I'll see if I can find the bearing when I order the other ones for the motor. But I think in the meantime, that's as far as I'm going to take this thing apart for now. Well, I think that's as far as I'm going to get on this today. I think I have everything apart that I want to get apart. I will take the back of the motor off after I clean it and replace the power cord. I'll do that off camera. It's no big deal. The rest of this I'm going to get into the ultrasonic cleaner with some super clean. I'll get the bearings ordered. Hopefully I can find these bearings and they're not too expensive. If you want to participate in the super clean giveaway, send me an email. The email address is listed down here. I need your YouTube name so I can verify you're a subscriber. And I need your name and your U.S. mailing address. This is only available for U.S. mailing addresses. On March 1st, I'll go ahead and pick somebody randomly and send that information to Super Clean. They'll send you out some really good product. I think you'll like it. In the meantime, I got to get all this stuff cleaned up. And I'm optimistic that this is going to turn out to be a really nice drill grinder. I am not so optimistic that I'll be able to learn how to use this thing effectively, because there's a lot of adjustment on it. And considering I just took a lot of it apart, I don't know where it was. Maybe I'll go back to the video to revisit that, but we'll figure it out. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you got a comment to add, something that you see that I missed, go ahead and put it down in the comment section. I do try to read them all. I don't get a chance to reply to all of them, but I do read them all. If you're a subscriber to the channel, I thank you very much. I appreciate your support in that way. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. Subscriptions are free, cost you nothing. Hit the bell icon. You'll be notified when I publish another video. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways so I can continue to do this kind of stuff and get these videos edited and upgrade equipment, cameras, microphones, whatever, you can do so by checking out the links in the description to become a Patreon member or join as a channel member. Patrons get advance notice of the videos, and they're ad-free, so there's definitely a perk to joining that. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.